So do you think coaching has gone too far and too many coaches are trying to be mindset coaches, aka counselors? And if so, is that putting a different connotation of what a coach actually does in people's minds?
Oh, how long we got?
Is this the right podcast?
Yeah, it is.
No, it definitely is, because
will-
it's like the people
Yeah.
are listening who want a coach or have a coach. So
Yeah.
their expectations of what we do could potentially be changed because I'm trying to dance outside of my scope of practice because I'm not good at it by embarking on other skill sets that I really have no place in doing.
So on Beyond the Gym Floor, which came out on Monday, we had a really big discussion about this. Talking to a client about this. I think someone asked me during the week, what's the future of personal training? And my answer was programming, nutrition, data interpretation will be superseded within 5 to 10 years.
By
AI.
By the robots.
So if you are relying on that, and a lot of people are, which is not wrong, and they've invested so much money in being really good technically and all of that, and then here's a thing, right? Client who is also a nerd sees a nerdy PT talk about nerdy things.
Yep.
Nerdy things create the buy-in. This person's smart. I want to work with them. And even the client thinks that they're buying the intelligence.
Yeah.
They're not.
No.
Because if it was just intelligence, you could download it yourself. It's the personality, it's the vibe, it's the whatever the fuck you want to kind of say. It's going to be funny because we're talking about mindset coaches and just say the vibration. It's the thing that's attracting you to that person.
Yeah.
The fact that they're anti-mindset coach. You're anti-mindset coach, so you're like, I want to work with them.
Yeah.
Because they're the science people, right? We all know those coaches.
Yeah.
And then they think that, oh, well, I just post about the science.
Yeah.
And people like it, so I get clients. Like, no, the way you deliver it resonates with other people that think the same way as you.
Yeah.
So you think you're the science guy, you're not. You're still selling personality. Because there's lots of people who say that shit who have zero personality, who have zero clients.
Yeah.
So that is a bit of a for a lot of people. So if you're a client, that's worth making note of. Hire the person you want to work with based on what they value, etc., and you'll have a much better time. Has it gone too far? I think it's important to identify what coaching actually is. So personal training is writing programs and training people.
Yeah.
Coaching is not that. Coaching is finding a way to get the most out of the person in front of them.
Yeah.
Different people interpret that differently.
Yeah.
Has the pendulum swung too far into every personal trainer thinking that if they solve the root cause of their fucking disconnection with their body or whatever, then they will get everyone results? Fucking oath it has.
Yeah.
There's way too many people who think that they can do that, who haven't.
Yeah, they've done like a weekend course and shit.
And have never done it for themselves. But anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Have you noticed how many people that make that shift also gain 10 to 15 kilos in the next 12 months?
I don't really pay attention.
Yeah.
But
It's a very interesting assessment.
yeah.
So, and it's not everyone, not throwing shade at everyone, but it happens a lot. So has it gone too far? Yes, but I also think don't lose what coaching fucking means. Because you want someone to coach you, not program for you. Because programming for you is fucking useless. You can go on ChatGPT now and download a program that's pretty good. For most people.
I was going to say they're pretty shit. But
Yeah, like 2 to 5% of the population that
I
we
agree.
work with. Sure. But I think,
I agree.
5 years from now.
I think as a expectation, you know, so we're supposed to work in the realm of dealing with healthy people. So a healthy person's in absence of disease and you know, whatever conditions. So there's elements of coaching that we can kind of work within for that.
Yeah.
And there's elements of health that we can help influence.
Yeah.
Psychological, mental, even spiritual, dare I say it, if you want to do that shit. But there becomes a point where the needs and demands of a person may exceed what
Your
is healthy and your capabilities.
Yep.
And that is when there's a specialist who's there for that job.
Yep.
There's people with very minimal experience, little to none no qualifications or in-depth kind of knowledge playing around in that space.
Yeah.
And I think that even to ask a online coach, fitness trainer, fitness professional, whatever the fuck you want to bundle that up as, to sit there and be a fucking master chef, have this like really in-depth like knowledge of like nutrition, be able to kind of unpack your thoughts, your feelings, and all your deepest troubles, as well as like do all of the other things that they're supposed to do in their job, I think is a little bit unrealistic.
Yeah.
I think that there's a time and a place for an expert to step in.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you can't stick to a meal plan and learn how to make your own decisions about your nutrition, you need to outsource to a nutrition specialist who's going to give you 7 different fucking meal plans for 7 days that align with your goals. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, if you...
Yeah, just like your childhood trauma is, if that's the reason that you emotionally eat, that's not for me to fix.
Yeah, it's like whatever the trigger is emotionally, it's like, I can dial you in to be motivated to train and keep you locked in, focused on what you need to do for whatever. But it's like, if there's something that's like traumatized you to stop you from doing that, I'm out.
Outside of bringing awareness to the behavior and offering some solutions,
I'm out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you start.
And there's people taking on that mantle that that have fucking no life experience themselves.
Well,
and
the irony of it is so many of the people who operate in this space will talk to people about how they project onto others.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like you became that person because something happened to you and you want to kind of pass that on to other people.
Yeah.
But you're passing on your biases.
Yeah.
You can't, you're not trained enough to be able to step back and be like, this is your thing, deal with that individually without my...
Yeah. I just think if like you're somebody who's listening to this who wants that kind of stuff, ask whoever it is that you're about to hire, how long have you been doing this for?
Yep.
What are your actual credentials?
Yep.
Which doesn't really kind of get asked. And every now and then when I get someone ask me, I'm like, ooh, like that's a bit, but I'm like, that's a fucking valid question.
Yep.
Really, when you think of it, it's like, oh, what credentials do you have? And it's like that person's basically saying, are you actually qualified to take care of me?
Yeah.
So every now and then it's like someone might be like, oh, it's a bit forward, but it's like, one of our coaches got all those questions, and I was like, they are fucking valid as questions that almost every single person should kind of screen their coach when they ask them. Yeah. And people don't. They just go, the persona that's being portrayed most of the time on social media and the shit that they're talking about makes out as if they're going to solve everyone's fucking problems or just make them feel good the way they are, so they actually achieve nothing.
Yeah.
And that sounds great, so I'm just going to, take that route and get personal training at the same time.
It's also important to remember this is the same industry that bought into keto, watched What the Health and believed it.
Yeah.
It thought intermittent fasting is going to change the world.
Yeah. Decided
you could build muscle with resistance bands and kettlebells. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have a good track record as an industry of figuring shit out.
Yeah.
We're all undereducated for the level that we operate in.
It's very
already
industry as well.
It's too young and it's too emotionally driven, and emotion is what sells in our space. So it's just none of the people who believed all of those things were doing it to cause harm.
Yeah.
No one woke up in the morning and went, you know what? Everyone will buy keto if I sell it. Fuck them. I know it doesn't work. I'm going to do it anyway.
Shouldn't say that. Yeah.
Lucky I talked over it. So no one did that intentionally to harm people.
Yeah.
Was it correct? No. But the intent was to help. And I think as much as we sit here and be like, because it pisses us off, we've had a lot of negative experiences. Like, I'll put it, my wife does it for a fucking living. Like, I've also had good experiences with people who operate in this space. She's also doesn't claim to be a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And she's been working on it for fucking 12 years. So, yeah, no one comes out with the deliberate ill intent knowing that X, Y, Z is wrong. It just, they believe what they're doing is helping potentially in 5 years' time, like the way we look at keto now, or What the Health, or what was the other one? The other vegan propaganda one with Arnie in it.
Oh. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah. So we all look back at that now and just like, okay, that was propaganda.
Yeah.
Move on with our lives.
Yeah.
We'll probably look back at this phase the same way.
Mm.
The trend will die out and it'll
Yeah.
move on. But with the intent of the question, I think it's important that we don't lose coaching.
Yeah.
And that is effective communication. It's understanding more variables than sets, reps, and macros. It's relating to an individual. All of those things is very, very important in what we do. And we can't lose that. But me diagnosing how your childhood trauma affects your training in the gym, it's not. Yeah. It's probably not where we should be playing.
No, I agree.